Navy SEALs surrounded.
A lone female sniper, Elizabeth Swan, starts dropping targets one by one. But the last thing she lines up in her scope isn't an enemy. It's a secret meant to kill them all. The first round cracked the sky. Echoes chased it down the ravine. A second later, the rocks around us spat dust. We hit the ground, mouths full of grit, ears ringing, heartbeats trying to jump out of ribs. "Count," I said, voices answered by habit. Cooper, Daniels, Reyes, 3 more, 1 missing. I kept my face still. We were in a bad bowl of earth. Ridge to the east. Cliff stairs to the west. A dried riverbed cutting the middle like a scar. The map had called it a corridor. That was polite. It was a kill funnel. The enemy knew it too. Their fire came angled. Smart arcs, no panic. No wasted rounds. This wasn't a mob. This was a net. I crawled to the fallen log we'd marked earlier. Old wood, sun-bleached, hollow enough for a rifle. I slid the bolt, kissed the cheek weld, took in a thin slice of the world through glass. Wind 4 knots from the saddle. Dust devils rising where heat was worst. Mirage thick. Range 720 to the first muzzle flash. A right-handed shooter behind a basalt fin. I exhaled and sent the round. The fin burped red. The flash went dark. East ridge, down 1, I said. Cooper didn't praise. He never did. Shift left. We're bracketed. I scanned left. Saw a movement like a fish underwater. Then another. They were sliding along the shale, low and patient. A classic pinch. They wanted our backs to the cliff. They wanted us tight enough for grenades to matter. I picked the tail man first. Teams count on their tails. When a tail dies, the whole line flinches. Click, breathe, press. Dust lifted from his vest and stayed with him on the way down. The middleman hesitated, turned his head. I took the leader while he looked back. Then the middle, who was now alone and knew it. Left pinch stalled, I said. For now. Daniels crawled beside me. He still had young eyes that shine even when they shouldn't. How many, Swan? Enough, I said. He shut up, which was smart. I kept working. Rock to rock. Glare to glare. You learn to hunt a place as much as a person. Valleys lie. They throw echoes. They bend light, but they can't hide heat shimmer and lazy mistakes. A head rose behind a thorn. Too high for too long. That one fell with a soft flop I felt through the stock. The net tugged tighter anyway. You can feel it when enemies you can't see agree on the same idea. Fire thickened. Ricochet sang. Reyes swore quiet, then louder. Blood on his sleeve. Not femoral. Good. Ammo? I asked. We were okay. Not great. No resupply on the wing. No comms out. The ridges ate our radios as a party trick. A figure broke from the distant scrub with something heavy in both hands. Too steady for a sprint. Too careful for panic. I dialed in. Rifle? No, tube. Launcher, I said. 2 o'clock, 750, Cooper. Clear him. I led the wobble, took the wind, pressed. The first shot tore the man's sleeve and spun him. He didn't drop the tube, bold or stupid. The second round hit the metal mouth. The tube coughed fire backward into his chest. He folded around it like paper. I took 3 quick breaths to bring the tremor down. You don't celebrate. You reset. The canyon answered me with silence. The bad kind. The kind that says someone important just noticed you. I slid left, changed height, changed angle. Never feed a pattern. I gave myself a new window, a crotch of rock with the view I needed and the exposure I could live with. Then I saw it. A flash of scope glass high on the east horn. Not a glint, a blink. Someone who knew better than to blink unless they were signaling. My throat cooled. This wasn't just a surround. It was a design. Whoever wore that glass was running threads. Sniper, east horn, top third, I said. Counterglasker, can you take it? Cooper asked. If I miss, I said, we don't talk again. The wind ticked up. Mirage danced. I let the valley breathe. I backed off 1/2 mil, then came on again, smooth as a tide. The reticle tucked into a dark notch where a human eye might hide. I pressed. Rock dust puffed. The glass fell. A silhouette jerked sideways, then vanished. Silence again. Deeper now, Daniels whispered. Is it over? I shook my head. Because the cliff to our west, a place I had cleared 5 times, was suddenly crawling with figures that were not there a minute ago. And they were carrying something I really did not want pointed at us. If sniper precision, Navy SEAL survival tactics, and high-stakes special operations thrill you, hit subscribe for part 2. Share to support more female sniper hero stories and realistic military suspense. The grin had a feed belt, not a mortar. Not a tube. Worse. A mounted gun big enough to erase cover by argument. The kind that writes its own geography. The team felt it the same second I did. Even breathing changed. Smoke, Cooper said. We popped 3. White flowers bloomed, then tore on the wind. Not perfect, but mercy seldom is. I rolled downslope, dragging my rifle with the sling biting my neck. The first burst chewed where my ribs had been. Stone screamed. The world filled with white noise and rock chips, and still my hands remembered the job. I needed height on the left, angle on the right, and a line that the gunner could not lay fast enough to follow. That meant the old slide path above the wash. Bad footing. Good geometry. Daniels followed, low and wide. He carried the spare radio in a fear of falling. I carried both of us with my eyes. We made the shelf just as the gun pivoted through the smoke, guessing the center of mass. The burst walked the slope like a cruel teacher. I got my rifle on the bipod, curled my toes into grit, and found the gunner. He had a scarf pulled to his eyes. He didn't blink. He didn't sway. He'd shot this rig before. He had a loader on one knee and a spotter on his belly. Take the spotter, then the loader, then the gunner. That's the order that moves fastest, I did. 3 beats, 3 drops. The belt stuttered once more and went slack. Tripod cold, I said. My voice sounded far away. Relief wanted in. I left it outside. This valley loved second acts. We slid back to the team. Reyes had a pressure bandage set. Cooper's sleeve bled through, but the color on his face was better. He gave me a look that said what he didn't say. I nodded my receipt of it and kept scanning. The enemy had gone quiet again. Not fear, planning. They'd learned me. They knew I favored the East Horn. They knew I tracked heat and dust and patience, so they took patience away, footfalls, dozens, maybe more. Not a charge. A slow pour. They came in from gullies we had called dead, from folds we had called clean. A net inside the net we move, Cooper said. Break contact south. I checked south. Saw sun glare and an old river step. The step led to a chimney we could fit single file. Or we could try. I can buy 30 seconds, I said. Maybe 40. Buy 60, he said. We live on 60. I went prone on the step lip and became a machine that loved small differences. A sleeve too tight on a forearm. A hat brim that didn't match the light. The stutter of a man who wants to be quiet but wants to be fast more. I took those. Each one a tick on a long clock. Daniels led the line into the chimney. Reyes followed. 2 more, then Cooper. I backed into the slot without breaking the sight picture. My pack scraped rock. The sound felt like sin. A voice drifted from somewhere I couldn't solve. Not our language. Not taunt orders, calm ones, keep moving, I said. We rose inside the stone throat until it choked us with a boulder jam. A real choke, head high, smooth, no tool marks. Just time and pressure. The kind of problem that doesn't care what's happening outside. We can't push, Daniel said. We don't push, I said. I slung the rifle, put both palms on the roundest rock and read its story. There was a saddle polished by water long dead. A notch that might take a knee. A ledge like a promise. I set my knee in the notch through my hips and squeezed up and over. Then I reached back and hauled Daniels by the plate carrier while Reyes shoved. One by one, gasping, cursing. The chimney opened 3 feet higher and gave us a new world. A narrow bench with an angle on our former graves. I crawled to the lip and glassed. The enemy flowed beneath like ants over sugar. They had numbers. They had time. But they didn't have a woman above them whose rifle was now set and whose heart beat steady in a small cage of bone. I began to walk them back. Not heroics, work, muscle, and math. Cut the front of the stream. Clip the sides when they bunch. Break the mind at the center. 30 seconds, Cooper panted. Keep them, I said. I bought 65. We snaked west along the bench until the rock fell away into a bowl of shadow. On the other side of that bowl, a saddle of light, and beyond it a slope we could descend without dying. I felt the old math, angles, arcs, lanes, and didn't like what it whispered. Hold, I said. In the shadow bowl sat a low shape wrapped in canvas. It had 3 legs and a stub nose. It was aimed at the saddle we needed like a finger on a trigger. Don't miss how Elizabeth Swan outplays a kill zone ambush with pure sniper craft. Tap like for realistic tactics. Subscribe for the next part. And comment eyes up to boost this Navy SEAL sniper series. Whoever placed that gun had walked the ground before we did. The sight drum was chalk-marked. 40 meters. Our bench to the saddle plus wind. The artist had even penciled a note on the canvas hem. A small hook. A little joke for whoever took the saddle and died on it. I didn't smile. Options? Cooper asked. 3, I said. Detour, deny, or deceive. Detour. Costs an hour we don't own. More contact. Deny? Break the gun or the crew. Deceive? Make the gun crew shoot where we're not. He waited. Then, deny. I nodded. Simple is kind when time is cruel. I slid back 10 feet and built the shot. The canvas breathed with wind lungs. The sight drum winked. A hand appeared to adjust the drum, then vanished. I waited for the hand again and took it off at the knuckle. The canvas froze. Then it yanked. 2 men rose by reflex. I dropped both before their rifles lifted. The third stayed down. Smarter than the first 2. He belly crawled to the shield and tried to crank the traverse to rake the saddle blind. I put a round through the crank handle and turned his plan into scrap. He rolled away and left a foot wide. I took the arch of it. He screamed and gave me a mask I could see. Gun denied, I said. Move, Cooper said. He didn't need to say faster. We ghosted the bowl's rim and hit the saddle low, bodies close to the earth as if that would make the earth love us. It didn't, but it let us pass. Downslope smelled like old sun and cold iron. The valley's sound changed too. Less echo, more breath. We were tipping out of the acoustic trap. I let myself imagine a helicopter noise because sometimes you need lies with good manners. Then the radio clicked in my ear. Not ours, a brief carrier wave. A half word. Then nothing. The ridges ate it. But the tone of it, clean. Government clean. Someone else is on this channel, I said. Friendly, Daniels asked. Or someone who stole friendly, I said. We moved faster. I kept the glass working and saw a shape on the far ridge I did not expect. A man in our camo. Not our face. He stood tall. Too tall for a place like this. He held a mirror in his left hand and turned it to the sun in slow language. Cooper's jaw clenched. Spoofing. I put the crosshair on the mirror and let the glass settle. One press and silver dust fell. The man flinched but didn't drop. He stared across the bowl and tried to find us with naked eyes. He didn't. I put the second round through his radio where it bulged his pocket. Sparks. He ran. I let him go. Why not? Daniels asked. Because he runs to someone who has a plan, I said. I want to see who. It didn't take long. The bull's far lip filled with ants again. Not pouring this time. Uncoiling. A long line that wanted to be a snake. We cut right into a cut I had not loved on the map and liked less in person. It was narrow, ugly, and honest. It told the truth, crawl or die. So we crawled. Pecs scraping. Knees knocking fossils embedded in the rock. The world shrank to 10 inches of view and the promise of the next inch. Halfway through, the cut turned mean. It dropped in a sudden step down into a pocket just big enough for me and a prayer. I dropped, then turned, then pulled Reyes, then pulled Daniels. Cooper came last. While we did this ballet with no music, the line on the far lip shaped wider, and someone out there got bored with patience. A mortar bump, the kind you feel in your teeth before you hear it. We flattened. The round hit the ridge above and showered us with old mountains. Move, Cooper said. We moved. The cut spat us onto a ledge. The ledge gifted me a view I had not expected to earn. The enemy's rear element. A squad shepherding supply mules, all wrapped in tarps. The animals blew steam. The men cursed softly. One of them dragged something long and padded. It snagged on a root. The padding tore. Inside, a case with stencils in English. Government clean. Elizabeth? Cooper asked. I see it, I said. I took the squad leader first, then the mule handler, then the man with the padded case. The others dove for the wrong cover. I stitched the edge of their cover and let the ricochet do the persuasion. They broke. 2 ran. One dropped everything and put both hands up at the sky like a man who expects the sky to catch him. Daniels slid to the case and popped the latches while Reyes covered. He lifted the lid and went still. Talk, I said. He swallowed. It's ours, he said. Beacon package. Spoof unit. Looks brand new. How many? I asked. Too many, he said. We weren't being hunted because we were there. We were being herded because someone wanted us and our rescue to meet in the same kill box. I looked at the ridgeline the mirror man had used. The sun had inched west. If I were them, I'd pick a time when shadow swallowed the helo approach, when sound was hard to read, when dust could hide the last 200 meters of intent. Extraction window? I asked. Cooper checked his watch. If anyone read our last burst, 30 minutes. I slid around home and felt the bolt lock like a vow. Want razor-tight counter-ambush strategy and a female Navy SEAL sniper turning a trap inside out? Smash subscribe, drop a comment with your favorite moment, and share to fuel this special operations thriller. 2 rotors, 1 promise, 1 lie. Sound in mountains is a con artist. You learn to hear through it. The first bird came low and hot from the south mouth, blades carving dust into a veil. The second came high from the north horn, hugging contour like it wore the place. Reyes said what we all thought. Which one's ours? I didn't answer. I watched. The south bird flashed a panel under the belly that looked right. The north bird never showed belly. That was a choice. The south bird broadcast a squawk on a code we had used last month. The north bird was quiet. That was also a choice. South looks right, Daniel said. South looks like someone bought a manual, I said. Cooper breathed through pain and memory and made a call. We don't signal, he said. We make them work. We went still. The south bird hovered and slid, trying to sniff our dust. The north bird drifted like a hawk that already knew where the mouse would run. I put glass on the north machine's tail rotor fairing. Someone had painted over an emblem, but paint is never perfect. Under the mat, a faint outline of a shape I knew from a place we don't talk about. Not ours, not friendly to us. I keyed my throat mic. South is the thief we know. North is the thief we can't afford? Shoot? Cooper asked. If I hit the tail, I own the crash, I said. Don't shoot, he said. He was right. We weren't here to ride a mountain of spinning metal. Then we teach them to land in the wrong place, I said. I had 1 smoke left. Yellow. Not our signal color. Perfect. I tossed it hard into a pocket 50 meters east and let it bloom like bait. The south bird nosed toward it, pilot eager to be the hero in his own movie. The north bird hung back. Move west, I said. Quiet. Fast. We slid along the ledge into a scoop of rock that broke the wind and our silhouette. The south bird descended into its dust ribbon and committed to a hover. That's when the ridge above it woke up with gunfire that had waited all day to be certain. The bird ate it. Sparks. Tail cone bit. Pitch changed to panic. It limped sideways and out, trailing a smear of black anger. The north machine nosed down now, sure we would run for the hurt thing. We didn't, we held. I put my scope where a door gunner's face might appear and waited for a blink. It didn't come. The door stayed shut. No gunner, no faces, just a dark rectangle and a camera eye. Not a lift, I said. A look. It skimmed our ridge and sent dust into my teeth. Its camera tasted our cuts and benches and tried to make sense of a small story inside a large one. I gave it nothing but rock. It slid away. We exhaled in the same second and hated ourselves for it. Windows closing, Cooper said. Then we make our own, I said. The beacon cases sat by my knee, sullen and new. I cracked a second one, same guts. Carbon, battery, promise. I cut a length of wire and the antenna stub. I kept the battery. I looked at the decoy mount we'd seen earlier with its scope drum and bad humor. Daniels, I said. You like toys? Usually, he said. We're going to borrow their drum humor and sell a better punchline. We set the decoy in the bowl where they wanted us. We wired the battery from the beacon to the traverse motor I'd disabled earlier. It didn't need to turn a gun now. It needed to turn a mirror. Reyes peeled reflective tape from our med kit. We made a dumb little heli lure. Silver mouth, fake blink. Range drum set wrong on purpose by a man who had looked wrong on purpose all day. I lay back and watched the sky turn a color that says, pilots get brave. The north bird returned first. Camera's thirsty. It saw the blink. It liked the blink. It dipped nose and let inertia do the math. When the machine crossed a rock I had already ranged 100 times, I put 2 rounds into the dust just in front of its nose. Not to hit, to speak. Dust fountains rose like angry fountains. The pilot flinched and pulled. The valley tilted around the bird and the camera's eye saw only rock where a mouse should be. West saddle, Cooper said. Now. We moved. The south bird limped back, noisy and offended, looked at its own smoke and left. Good. We made the saddle and found a gift. A dead man's ruck with a field notebook and a half-eaten fig bar. I took the notebook and the bar. I read as we walked. The notes were in neat script. Range cards, frequencies, panel codes, names, not ours. The last page was a single grid square circled twice with one word written hard enough to rip the paper. House, I read. Daniel said, safe house? The opposite, I said. The grid square sat 2 kilometers down a spur named for a bird that doesn't live here anymore. The note said there would be water. That could be true. The note said there would be a door. That would be true enough. We angled that way. The enemy followed because they had spent a day weaving this web and couldn't leave it empty. We reached the spur's crown and saw a structure crouched into the rock like a bunker that married a cave. It had a door. It had a trough with green water. It had a roof patched with sheet metal that would sing in wind. It also had a pole with a rag that used to be a flag, and now was a color you get when you mix mud with blood and time. Cooper touched my elbow. Elizabeth, he said, soft. Yeah, your call. I glassed the door and saw something I didn't like.